Brought to you by Make Fun Network.
Welcome to the Top 5 of Death, where listeners vote and everyone dies. Listen and die.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Top 5 of Death. I'm your host, Matt. Just hit my mic with a banana bistany. That's a real story there. This week's episode of the... Whoa, God. Oh, what's happening? Should we start over? Will? Is that a Will thing? We all heard that, right?
I don't think so.
Someone listening to the stream while on the stream? Seems like a Will thing. Oh, by Will, everyone Will's here.
Hi.
Will,
Good evening, everybody.
Are you doing anything right now that's stream related?
I'm streaming a podcast with you guys, which is very fun.
No other windows open of a YouTube channel?
I've got tons of windows open.
Okay,
always.
Enough. All right. Charles Nutchucky's here. Charles, how are you?
I'm here. I'm surviving.
Ooh,
Figuring out the stream. Yeah.
I was going to say you were queer. That was going to be a big reveal.
Could have been.
Queer.
Not yet.
And someone who I jokingly questioned his queerness is here. Sam is here. Sam is been on the road, and Sam looks like he's been aging quite a bit on this journey here. Sam, am I being nice or mean to you?
I don't know. I don't know. I've had a busy few weeks, but I don't know.
Sam, you look like you've been working nonstop, like saving children in like a volcano situation. How's it going? How's the road? What's it like? Give us the update.
Okay, it's good. I've had the busiest 3 weeks or whatever of my entire life. First of all, moving into the RV was just brutal. It's just like trying to remember not only like all of my things that I need for daily life, but all the things we need to photograph dogs and like create a pretty high quality video production. Getting all that.
At that.
Yeah.
What was like the biggest discovery of truth in regards to like about to live life in the RV? Like, what was the moment where you were like, "Oh shit, wait a minute, I can't," and then whatever, like because it's going to be RV life.
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, like I'm pretty good at like paring down things. I was just like, all right, here's 7 pairs of underwear, let's go. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't like, oh, I can't bring my loot with me or whatever. It was more so all of the absolute crazy BS that I had to do to get on the road. To get on the road that first day, just to leave. It was at the end of like 12 to 14 hour nonstop days of like crazy work and packing. And then when I finally pulled out of my driveway, I had a 7-hour drive and it was already 6:00 at night.
Oh my God. You had to get there the next day?
We had booked like a whole number of like different campsites and stops like along the way so that, each day could only be like 8 to 10 to 12 hours worth of driving. Only. So basically like we sprinted across the country. Like we did like 2,500 miles in, like 6 days or something like that.
Where are you now?
I am in Kalispell, Montana, outside of Glacier National Park.
Oh.
Yeah.
Every time anyone mentions a park, Charles is like, ooh.
Yeah.
I ran around that park.
I've never been to Glacier, sadly. But yes, I love national parks.
Do you really? You must.
Yeah. Yeah.
I genuinely do.
We plan our whole trips around going to them and then what we can do. So next weekend I'm going to Chicago and we're going there so we can go to Indiana, the national park in Indiana, which is Indiana Sand Dunes.
Why?
So we want to cross all 63 of them off of our list. So when we go to Alaska, we're screwed because there's like 6 of them in Alaska.
What if you went to one tree and took 63 photos from different angles? Would that satisfy?
In this
Because
angle,
if you showed those pictures to me, I go, oh man, this guy's been to all the parks.
And this angle is the Great Volcano Park in Hawaii. Believe it or not, so many trees next to the volcanoes. So many trees.
Now you have to run across the park, though. Is that the pre-run?
Yes, always. You have to run at least a 50 miler in each park. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Barefoot and in a loincloth to really reconnect with the earth.
That's what we're all thinking.
We're not joking around here, Charles.
No.
We're talking about national.
I'm not. Yeah.
All right, fine. Then I better see what you just said.
Well, we're getting reconnected with the people and the ground.
Charles, honest
Yes.
question. Your balls, how far do they hang when you're running? Is it an issue?
No, if anything, they're almost going inside of me. Yep. It's not a good look.
Is that
Not
like a
a-
running thing?
Yes.
I know this
actually.
sounds like a joke. I'm genuinely asking.
No, and that is a thing.
So when you're running, your nuts go in your belly?
They don't go inside you, but it's real small.
Do I just have
Nuts get
runner's
ris-
nuts permanently?
Maybe. I was going to say, like, they're probably like your nuts, Matt, where they just shrink up real small, less blood flow.
Half of a walnut shell between my legs all the time. Just like if I
Yeah.
glued it between on my taint, it's my nuts.
Hey, listen,
Yep,
we're doing it in a
that's
live
what's-
stream. We can finally see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll be the last live stream too.
Gross.
Are your trips going well, Sam?
It's going really well. We just started. We just finished basically filming like our first episode of the YouTube series that we're doing.
Nice.
So we worked with one really excellent dog at the shelter out in Flathead County, Montana, and he was awesome. We took him for a boat ride. We took him to get an ice cream. What else did we do with them? Everything is turning into complete blur for me, but we gave this dog like a massive day out. We took him down to this awesome river that we could kind of run around in, and he could just be a dog outside of a shelter for a minute. And listen, if this thing is live, head to that Flathead Animal Shelter page, and you can look at Rhett, REHTT. He's like some sort of coonhound bloodhound mix or something like that. He's pretty awesome.
Is that appropriate these days? Coon hound, Sam?
I saw Will's eyes light up when you said that, and I was like, you know what? I'll let Will have this one.
Yep.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
it's a raccoon hound.
Yeah.
Now my little coon dog.
I think it just depends on the context in which it's used.
This is a handsome dog.
Yeah,
Is
he's
it
a nice
looking
boy.
at Rhett himself?
Looking at him right now.
Nice. That's awesome. Final
Thanks,
question.
dude.
And I'm surprised I haven't. Maybe I've asked you this before. Is there a breed of dog that gives you hesitation to work with?
Not necessarily a breed, because people have a lot of those like misconceptions about like some of the breeds that like I really like. You know what I mean? Like I have two pit bulls, and like I don't think I have a like a super skewed view on pit bulls specifically, because there's been plenty of dogs that I've worked with, like regardless of their pit bulls or any other breed, that I've been like, I don't trust this dog, you know, and I can just tell from their body language, from the way they react to certain things. I've had that same thought with golden retrievers and chihuahuas and Labradors and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So like I don't really like when people say like, oh, you have a pit bull, they must be mean, because like, I don't know if you've ever seen my dog Junie, but she's the most docile, innocent creature that's ever existed, and she has no defense mechanism to her whatsoever. She'll just let herself get killed if something attacks her. She's like, well, I guess I'm dying now.
I give up.
Yeah, but there are some that are kind of known to just be like a little like tweaked, and they tend to be the ones that are like pretty overbred. What are those ones called? The American Bull Terriers, the ones that like the target dog.
Yep. Yeah.
Those
yeah.
And
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know what my number one is, Sam? And I worked at an animal hospital in the kennel
Yeah.
for a while. Shar-Peis. Any
Oh,
bad
sure.
experience with? They're
Yeah, because
fucking
you never know where their asshole is.
exactly. You don't know. You don't know what's biting you.
Yeah.
But
I-
Chihuahuas, like you said too, just piece of shit dogs.
Jesus.
Mhm.
I had a shoot once with 5 Chihuahuas, and when the girl booked me, I was like,
Had
"This
to
is going to
shoot
be
5 Chihuahuas.
I had a photo experience with 5 Chihuahuas,
Oh,
and,
okay.
and
Sounds
and-
weirder.
Yeah, all right, yeah, we're getting less. We're getting more off the track. But when this girl booked that shoot, and I was like, "This is going to be an absolute nightmare," and then all 5 Chihuahuas were great, and I was like, "This is crazy." So I don't know. You just never know, but you meet the dogs, and then you can kind of, if more you know about them, you can judge them pretty quickly. But I think every American Bull Terrier I've worked with, I've been like, "Oh, you're maybe not like aggressive, but like you're nuts. You're just nuts." So that's fine as long as they have responsible owners. I think every dog has a home out there.
That's right.
Well, that's nice. Well, I'm glad it seems like it's going well. And
Thank you.
I wish you more success.
Appreciate that, man. Well, I'm just happy that my space internet works and I can
Yeah.
come join you on the podcast and hopefully not drag the
Working great.
whole thing down.
Thanks, Musk. Yeah. Let's see. Where are we? Yeah, me. Let's see. What's going on? Yeah, everything's going fine.
Did you get new tattoos?
I did. Yeah, they're over here. Got the
Oh.
orange bird here. It's all peely though.
Ooh.
That's okay. That happens.
My monorail's done.
Very cool.
Yeti, Disco Yeti. Yeah, I got one more thing. So one thing I forgot to add on my sleeve. I didn't forget to add. I was like, I don't want it to be too busy, so I want to like take some things away. But I have like this whole space,
Mhm.
like kind of on the underside of my arm. So I'm gonna get like a waterway done. I'm just gonna get an empty boat from Living with the Land on there because I fucking love Living with the Land.
Yeah.
I don't even know what ride that is.
So I'm getting Living with the Land. It's the edutainment boat ride in the in Epcot in the Land Pavilion.
I must have been on that ride 40 times.
I
It's
don't
so
know.
good.
I don't remember this at all. I mean,
Well,
last
it's
time
not-
I was at
it's-
last time I was at Epcot was like 94, 95. So
It was definitely there, but it's not
Yeah.
exactly it's not commanding. I'll put it this way: you can walk on it at any time. So, but it's great. I love that ride. I love the music. I listen to that music from that ride more often than I should. I just put it on the background and I just like work.
Yep.
And it's
That
so
drum beat
good.
from the end.
Oh, the whole thing's great.
Hmm.
God, I love that ride. If I could die and just if I had to only exist in one place for the rest of my life, I'd just be on that boat over and over again. I'm gonna fucking kill this cat because it won't leave me alone. But yeah, other than that, let's see. Super Bowl for myself update. I was pretty black pilled last week. I was like kind of down. Kind of turned myself around. Had to, right? And now that she's like, this is about the presidential election, so we'll just skip ahead. I only got like one like real update on the whole thing. Is I felt a little bit better because now she's starting to talk and say things, and I'm like, oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, this is when it's gonna. This was the. So now it's. This is like the crazy thing is like. The thing she's saying, literally yesterday, at a rally, she was talking about how it's a bad thing that prices have rose so high in the last 3 years under her administration. I don't think she realized what she said, but she made this whole thing about how things are so unaffordable now in the recent rise of everything. When she's been overseeing it. But anyway, so some people think that they're still going to put someone else in after the convention. I was like, that's a tough one.
has the
That's a
DNC
real
not
tough
happened?
No, it
It
hasn't
starts
happened.
I thought it already. I thought it already happened.
No, she's still technically not the official candidate.
Oh.
And some people think that they're gonna. I don't know. It's wild. Again, it's a good season. It's a good season for being like unpredictable. But I am feeling better because she's saying some like just outlandish shit, and people are like, "What? Yeah, I don't know about that one." But yeah, so just feeling a little bit more positive about it. Well, we'll see what happens.
It blows my mind that they don't have an official candidate yet. It seems like that's something we should have nailed down a while ago.
So technically, this is how it is every year. The candidate isn't official till after the conventions, but the conventions happen fairly late. And like, I'll put it this way: not until like this year did I really like acknowledge the fact that like, oh, I guess that's technically true. Like you're saying, Sam, we know who the candidates are months ago in a normal circumstance, but technically they're not the candidates because they didn't get the official thing from their party at the convention, which happens months later, which is really stupid. Other thing too is like, I don't know. It's just technicalities of how government work is like you like Bill Belichick could become president because he's so good at rule booking shit. And like he would just understand the rules of government to a degree where they're like, well, technically I can do this. And they look it up like, oh shit, he's right. And then like he would just do that as all the way up to the top or something. But I don't know. It's crazy. I totally agree. It's weird. I guess it's so like nothing terrible happens. It's like a shorter window between the election and the official candidacy. I don't know, but we'll see. The convention starts Monday.
What musical
love
acts
to
do you
see
think they're
someone
going to have?
All of them, whoever they want.
Which musical acts are they bringing on?
Oh, fucking, I don't know. I saw a meme that was like, the year 2026, and it was just like nuclear, like devastation. It was like after, Taylor Swift and Beyonce tell all their robot fans to go vote for Kamala Harris. So I was like, but
my hope was if Biden was still going to be the pick for the DNC, they were going to have him try and like crip walk out to like Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us.
oh my God. That might
Which
get me
would
to vote
be-
for him.
Exactly.
I'd be like, ooh,
He's
you know
not
what?
old. Look at him go. Like, yeah.
That's enough of a bit for me to jump on board. Listen, I love gimmicks. I love if Kamala Harris came out and was like, she just had this whole like over the top gimmick that she's actually like an alien from Planet Sweatsock, like Guar, and she started doing this whole thing. I'd be like, this woman needs my vote and all my support, and I don't care what she has to say. I don't care what her policies are. That rules.
Yeah. I mean, the last person who came in with a gimmick was Trump, and it's working.
Yeah. Well, the problem is like someone pointed out, he's not 2016 Trump, and that's not a good thing. That's like hurting his, like he's not catching that like thing you're saying, Charles, right? Like he was getting that momentum because like he was like the middle finger to the establishment.
Yeah.
And now he's like just like 1 foot in and 1 foot out kind of thing. And it's just not the same. He needs to be
like-
more 2016.
Like old wrestling gimmicks, you can't just go back to the same shit.
Yeah. Yeah. But
I
I don't know.
You guys
We'll
remember
see.
when
We'll see what
Clinton
happens
played
next
the
week.
saxophone?
Bill
Yeah.
Clinton played the saxophone.
Good times.
Yeah, no, he was fucking cool,
Yeah.
and everything was all right.
Everything was fine, except for all those other things. Yeah. Who won last week?
I did.
Oh, thank God! Every week I ask that question with a fucking absolute pit in my stomach that you're gonna be like, "You did." I'm gonna go, "What? No, I did not
Well,
win."
Usually the answer is Will won.
I know.
So,
Broke my streak.
yeah. I
believe
broke
Will
my
got so many
streak
votes.
too. I haven't won since like May.
May.
I haven't had a solo win since then. I'm pretty good at tying with people. But yeah.
All right. Well, let her rip.
All right. Where did I even put it? Okay. Welcome, everyone, to the final event of the Games of the 33rd Olympiad, presented to you by Make Fun Network in partnership with NBC. I am Charles MacDonald, presenting solo today, as my two fellow hosts are currently competing in their respective events. Let's head over to the bronze medal matchup in the cooking event, the matchup between Fujiwara Armbar of Japan and Matthew Bistany of Lebanon are on their final dishes for this competition. They were asked to create a non-gluten-free dish for someone who isn't actually gluten-free. So let's take a closer look at what Matt Bistany is creating. You can see he's preparing a beef Wellington with a gluten-free crust. This is a bold move since most people who order gluten-free don't actually think bread is gluten. But you have to trust his judgment on this. Matt Bistany is a two-time medalist at these Olympics already, taking home a gold in creative racism and silver in Ookie Cookie. Can he bring home the bronze for Lebanon?
I don't like
he
that.
We don't know how the judging works for Uka Cookie. Is silver good? We don't know.
No.
He is presenting his plate to the judges. Our judges for this dish are a mixed panel of late 30 divorcees from California, historically picky for their scores. And it looks like Matt Bistany has pulled out a score of 87.8. How does scoring work in cooking? We still don't know as well. The Japanese team is quite upset, and it's looking like they're going to contest the scoring with the judges. But as of right now, Matt Bistany is the bronze medalist and cooking. This is a proud day for Lebanon. Oh, what's this? It looks like the two teams are in a heated discussion after Matt Bistany is seen taunting the Japanese team. We apologize for the language, folks. It looks like Matt Bistany is now using some of his creative racism he is well known for. And my goodness, the Japanese team have brandished katanas and are massacring the Lebanese team. This is a dark day for the Olympic folks. But let's cut away to our next event. Moving on, as we pivot now to the closing ceremony for William Valentine, silver medalist in drunk driving and force and slot machine-a-thon. He isn't competing in this final event, but he is coaching the U.S. world leader Joe Biden on how the Crypt Keeper made it this far is a true testament to how Will can coach anyone into being an everyman. The final event is hooking up 3 devices to one TV with 4 HDMI ports. Plenty of options to choose from. It looks like Biden is shuffling towards the television. He's bending over to plug in the Roku, and oh heavens, his back is snapped. The president is down. Williams currently running to his president, cradling him in his arms. Biden's saying something to his coach. Was it William Lee? I love you too, my sugar bear, Biden. And I can't believe I'm reporting this, but the president of the United States is dead. This is a sad day for the nation. We're now going to cut away to the closing ceremonies here, where we're getting reports now that the Secret Service has dragged off William Valentine under orders of Joe Biden. If he's ever seen again, we will report on it. But that will do it for these Olympic Games, folks. Thank you for watching on Peacock.
Yay.
Nice plug for Peacock at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peacock. Everything we're endorsed by Peacock.
Yeah.
We all everything we say on the show is fully endorsed by Peacock.
NBC. I mean,
NBC,
we're right in the family.
Yep.
Yeah.
Build the wall, deport them all. Hey, that's
You
a
can
good
watch-
slogan. Hold on, I gotta sell that to some conservative thing. God, that's a good one. Build a wall, deport them all. Guys, I have to leave the show. I have the money. I have $1 million train ride. I got to grift my way to the top over here.
The opinions of Matthew David Bisney do not necessarily reflect those of the other hosts of the Top of Death podcast.
Listen, that's fine. All right, that's it. Then this idea is mine solely, and I get all the benefits. One thing you said, Charles, that made me think about something that I've never thought of before.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of Japan going to war with Lebanon is so far removed, and I was like,
Yep.
yeah, there are parts of the world that would never interact with each other, which is insane. I just kind of just clicked in my head. That's like, who would Japan go to war with? Maybe China. Okay, that makes sense. But they'd never go to war with the Middle East for no reason. It's like they're so. I don't know if they have any relationship at all.
It's the closest thing to it I can think of is when Britain got into war with Argentina or Chile over the Falkland Islands, which are islands off the coast of South America. And Britain's like, no, this is ours. We're keeping this.
Oh yeah, that's Prince, the prince that was on Epstein Island. You ever hear? So
Charles?
No. Is it Prince Charles? No, Prince Andrew.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, Prince Andrew. Charles is the king.
So some victim of the Epstein issue claimed that, they interacted with Prince Andrew. And she could in her detailed thing, she was like, oh, his sweat through his shirt, and I could smell his sweat, blah, 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 blah. And then his defense to that accusation was that he can't sweat because of PTSD from when he was in the Falklands War. That was his. He's like, couldn't have been me. I can't sweat. That was his.
Sure.
That was his actual defense.
I can't sweat. I feel like that's
It's an easily proven lie.
PTSD does not cause you to not sweat.
I guess there is some validity to that. There's a condition that prevents you from sweating, but imagine being
Wild.
like,
Wasn't me.
you know, hate to spoil this for everybody, but I can't sweat. Oh, hold on a second. Oi, I hate to spoil it for everyone, but I can't sweat. You see? Chimney.
This is English Prince Andrew.
It's me, Prince Andrew. I'll chimney sweep, I do. Chimney, chim-chiroo. If you think I was on Epstein's Island, it was actually you. Chimney, chirette. It couldn't be me because I cannot sweat.
Beautiful.
Top five
right,
of
What's up in court?
Ah.
Oh, Sam, your Starlink froze.
No, I'm here.
He's switching satellites. His video just sucks.
Yeah, one satellite's leaving your orbit while the other one's coming in. They got to do the handoff.
They do. that's the whole problem.
Shut the fuck up, Alexa. All right, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Who won?
What's
Charles,
our?
who won?
No, this isn't my topic. This is Will's.
Oh, Will.
Yeah,
Tell us what we're
so
doing.
I won 2 weeks ago. So this week we're doing the top 5 signs of success. And this is by your age, as you aged. From 0 to 10 will be your number 5. 10 to 20 will be your number 4, and so on and so forth, with the number 1 pick being a sign of success to accomplish before you die.
Okay, so just so we're clear, these are what we would consider to be successful, not necessarily things that we felt we were successful at those ages.
Right.
So
what you
for
think.
an over-the-top example would be like when I was a kid, being like a sign of success would be like owning a gold-plated rocket-powered car that could go to the moon.
Right. That would be a rational pick.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Great. So who's going first?
Well, the welcome back gift always goes to the new guy, Sammy.
That's true. Welcome back.
I'm honored. Okay, so all right, I'll set the scene. I'm 6 years old, and it's Christmas time, and my family's having a big gathering. I had a what would he be? He's my great uncle. My great uncle's house. He always had like the big gathering for Christmas. And we'd come in and everything would be festooned and garlands and shining lights and presents everywhere. But all the kids would run to the living room to gather around the 42-inch projection television, which I thought was the fucking absolute biggest sign of like, wow, this guy has everything.
42 inches.
Yeah. And I mean, standard definition, obviously, this would have been 1992 or something. And, I mean, like I was just blown away because at the time, you know, you had like a CRTV at home that weighed 400 pounds and had, you know, like an 18-inch screen on it or whatever.
My uncle had a big screen TV, but it was like the big screen CRT TVs.
Yeah.
Fucking massive.
It's the one that's like built into its own stand, right?
Yeah.
Console TV. Those projection ones, though, Sam, that you're talking about, you know, everybody had like the friend that had one of these. So you'd go over for big games or whatever growing up. But there was only one good seat to get a good view on these things. All the angles were so terrible. There was like light bleed from the corners and all that.
Yes.
So
directly in front of it.
Was this one of the ones that had the projector like at the floor that pitched up and like it folded out? Or was this like it had like a
this would have been inside of a gigantic box.
If you
But I can't imagine how much you would have to pay someone to take one of these off your hands these days.
oh my god! You push that thing out the back of a van on a desolate street. That's it.
That is it. You could hollow it out and, you know, build a shelter for, you know, a homeless family or an animal that needs a home or something like that. But no, what an absolute piece of garbage TV it is in retrospect. But at the time, like, I couldn't think of anything else that made me think like, wow, this guy is super successful. He has everything. It was that 42-inch projection television.
His wife leaves him, takes the kids, all this stuff's happening to him, and Sam's like, he's got everything. He's sitting by himself watching that TV.
And in retrospect, I mean, this is a big part of I think this topic, right? Is like looking back, you're just like, oh wow, like I, you know, definitely could have purchased a television to like on a credit card at any age and made an irresponsible decision. And you know, I don't see that side of my family very often, so I think there was legitimately like 15 to 20 years in between like when I saw this uncle like at his house, and I went there pretty recently, and I was like, oh, this place is kind of a dump. Like,
The TV's still there?
Yeah.
a good question, because they he's a vet and he's awesome. They're really good people, but they like
Like a veterinarian or a war vet?
yes, a veterinarian.
Okay.
But they show dogs, they show pugs or something like that at dog shows. And so I went into their house and it's just lined with kennels and barking dogs on the inside of the house. Like the same room that used to be festooned with the garlands and, you know, bright lights and Christmas cards or whatever is now just like an absolute chaotic disaster.
Piss and shit.
Piss and shit, and I'm not even joking. And I went in for like 5 seconds to say hi to my aunt, and I was like, well, hey, I gotta go, guys. I'll see you later. Yep.
And pugs too, just making those awful pug noises and drooling everywhere.
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good pug.
Yeah.
Thanks. I work on it in my car by myself. Just driving around.
I mean, honestly, that's really something to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very nice.
Who's next?
I'll go next.
All right. Don't mind
so
me. I'm
for
just
my-
looking at my tattoo.
Yeah, stop picking your scabs. For my number 5, from up to the age of 10, what I thought was the true pinnacle of life would be if you owned a treehouse.
Yo,
Oh,
that was me. I had a treehouse.
Oh,
now look at
so
it.
cool. Yeah.
Now look
You
at
just
me.
go-
I live
keep
in a
running
place
through the
almost, yeah. I live in a place that's almost the same size.
And there was a neighbor of mine that had one, and he was a little older than me. So this was back in Methuen. I was like 4 years old. I didn't know you then.
Methuen?
Yeah, Mingia Valley. Just up until I was like 5 years old. But my neighbor, like 2 houses down, had one, and I was always just so envious. He saw it every time I drove, to my house. And finally one day, like, I had the opportunity to go into it, and I was so fucking pumped, and I'm climbing up the ladder. And as soon as I get to the top, before I can even like lift my knee over, I get a massive splinter on my hand and cried like a little bitch and went home.
Dude, splinters are I fucking hate splinters.
So it went from like this peak fucking moment of my life to I remember vividly my mom pulling the splinter out, and then she took me to Chuck E. Cheese. So that was it was a win all around. I don't know if I've ever been in a treehouse ever. Now that I think of it, but yeah, definitely when I was a little kid, that was the coolest thing. I wanted to be Bart Simpson.
Oh yeah, who doesn't?
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
Treehouse with 5 corners.
How many good? Who was that?
With 5 corners. Millhouse hiding in one of them.
Oh yeah, he looks.
Yeah.
It's all 4, but he's in the 5th one.
Yeah.
God, that best, fucking best.
So
Charles, Oh yeah,
I was gonna say, Charles, tell us about yours.
Oh yeah. So my dad built the treehouse. God, it was
I had a dad.
yeah. It's what 20 feet in the air. Like, in theory, that's ridiculous to let like a 10-year-old up into a treehouse.
Was it really like
it-
20 feet in the air?
Yeah, it was high. It was high up there.
Jesus Christ!
We had the standard ladder, like the aluminum ladder that you should definitely give a kid to use. You could have that. There was a ladder built into the tree itself, like plank screwed in, or you could use the rope ladder, which no one did, because who the fuck knows how to use a rope ladder as a kid? And then to get like stuff up into the treehouse, we had a pulley system to like with a bucket to bring our toys up. So yeah,
Fuck you.
Jesus.
That sounds
man.
awesome.
it was great. It was open. It didn't have a roof. You know, you could put it. We at one point put a tarp over top for if it rained, but yeah, it was open. And you know, for safety, so you didn't roll out. There was in between the railing, there was one piece of rope. You know, you don't fall, like roll off the side. Like the more I think about it, the more dangerous it was. But yeah, it's pretty
20
cool.
feet, huh? What did your
I
dad
think it
do
was-
for work? Was he like a handy person for work, or is there something he's like, I could do it?
Yeah, so he is he's an electrical engineer. So he went to like architectural school and knows how to like design everything. Yeah, he also does his own woodworking and all that shit.
He's a handy guy then.
He's a handyman. Yeah, I never learned anything from him because I just handed him things. So
I know I can tell by that hole in the wall you got behind you.
what are you talking about? You can't make those lies. We're on YouTube now.
Yeah. He's got a bunch of friggin' I drink Monster Energy in their Fox Racing hat drywall holes in the back, back of his house.
There's a dirt bike in the house.
Yeah.
It's
What do you
called
describe?
tile holes.
You're just speaking of uncles' houses. You're describing one of my uncle's houses right now.
Oh, God, just nothing but Mountain Dew, Monster, and Fox Racing gear.
Yep.
People live fast, man.
Yeah.
I would still love to have a treehouse to this day. You know, obviously
Yeah.
that's not. But you know what I would do if I did have one?
Jerk off in it.
Smoke weed every day.
Hey, there we go.
It's back, baby.
It's back, baby. We'll figure it out. He's going to show me how to do it, and then I'm going to be obnoxious again. But I'm glad I hope we all have it. We've never done a show where we all have access to these.
What a bad idea.
One of my favorite episodes of the top 5 that I've ever done, I forget what episode it is. I'd love to go back and listen to it. Was the one that I just did the text to speech the entire time.
Wild.
Yeah, exactly. Wild.
Driest wild ever delivered.
Ha 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 ha. We were dying recording that episode. It was so much fun. R.I.P. to everyone in that room, except for myself. Literally, the only one I talked to is DJ. So say that for what you will.
Ah,
So, yeah. That's mine. Charles, why don't you take the next one?
Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead. Why don't you?
So my number 5, based off when I was a kid and what I thought was successful, was owning the backpack Super Soaker.
Oh, that's a good one.
That was an expensive piece of tech back then. So I had one friend who
It's
had one.
funny. It's funny you say that because we're just like, oh, you had this like sweet tree house, and of course it's always like, oh, I'd give it all up for a little more. It just doesn't have a fucking squirt gun, so he's like, fucking this like fucking sucks.
Yeah.
He just destroyed shit.
Yeah.
I just had another realization, was another idea of success back then. But yeah, so I had like a tree house. I had all like the Power Rangers toys and shit. But yeah, I didn't have like a Super Soaker, didn't have a Power Wheels, didn't have a trampoline, didn't have any of that
Power
shit.
Wheels. Didn't have any of that either, or a treehouse.
When we had them, they were hand-me-downs. So we had like the Power Wheels that was my my cousins that were shitty. So it like barely
Hand-me-down
worked.
trampoline. Big hole in
Hole
it.
in it.
Someone should permanently stuck in a spring.
Yeah. But yeah, we always had the hand-me-down versions. Even I had a hand-me-down Super Soaker. So you know it leaked half the fucking time. But yeah, backpack Super Soaker. That was
Did you ever get to use one when you were a kid?
which one? The backpack Super Soaker?
The backpack one?
No. I'd buy
So
one
I
as an
didn't have
adult right
one.
now. If I could.
The ones back then were just shitty, like straps, tiny straps. And when you put like 30 pounds of water on your back as a little kid, first of all, your back is like this and it hurts like a motherfucker across your shoulders. There was no padding at all. So, it was one of those things that I was like, oh, good. I'm glad I never got this. It sucks. Give me the 50, the 50 or the 150 all day.
Oh man. How much would it cost to get one of these bad boys for right now?
Do
Uh,
they
I think we
make,
just
like-
did this.
they-
It was
Don't get it. They do not make them the same at all. I bought.
Oh, really?
Oh my god, I bought the Super Soaker 50 when they reissued it because I was so fucking pumped. I loved my Super Soaker 50, and that was like a snap buy, instant. I saw it in the store. I was like, "Yep, I'll take that." Fucking sucks. It doesn't like hold water. It's like someone like was like, "Oh, you know what? I'll make this in the worst way possible, but it just looks cool." I'm convinced they were made for like display purposes only. They do not work. So if you
That's
see
a
one that's
shame.
made now, don't get it. If you can find like an OG one, I'd pick that one up.
No, this
I
is
wanna
like
know- I want to know if someone makes like an adult professional level backpack, water gun, holds like 60 pounds of water, like in titanium.
Why are you describing something I would probably do in an event? What is this?
Well, they make those really cool like electric power ones that like you dip the nozzle, like the front of it, in the water, and it sucks all the water up, and it's got the lights that tell you how much in it, and it shoots it in like a pulse blast. Have you seen those?
No.
No.
Those are super cool. Yeah, it's like a futuristic looking gun. You take the front of it, you put it in water, and you pull like the trigger, and it sucks the water into its own chamber, and then it has this like LED light that like gives you like how much is in there, and then when you go to shoot it, it's just like it's like a fucking sick machine gun, dude.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking about.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Sam, what time is it where you are?
8 something? Nope, 9:12 now. I'm 2 hours behind you.
Oh, okay, that explains because it's like lighting up. No, what the fuck was that, Will?
Yeah.
Oh,
he said he was
this-
behind me.
Oh. I was like, that ghost just show up in Will's house.
Come on, we're on video now. I can do animated stuff.
Whoa.
Oh,
There you go, everybody.
demonetized.
Might want to be proud of that. Oh shit, she's coming.
Matt, are you showing your nipple on the internet again?
She might, I don't know. I think she heard me. I don't know if someone's bringing me up. Someone said they had a plate of food for me, so now oh, my daughter does. There we go.
Oh.
Oh,
Come here.
Oh, and-
my God, look at this. Thank you so much.
Ooh.
You say hi?
Paid
All right.
actress.
Bye.
crisis actor.
Bye.
This freaking plate. Look at this pancakes and eggs. Come on.
Whoa.
Jeez.
I know.
Second breakfast for you.
I didn't
Living the Hobbit
know that-
life.
know that was happening.
Yep.
All right, who's up?
You.
You.
I just got my food, man. No, I'll go. All right. So my number 5, 0 to 10. I've talked about this on the show before, but like a sign of success from my perspective at that point was anyone who went on like a family vacation. Like you'd be in elementary school, someone would be gone for a week, and they come back, they got a puka shell necklace, and they have this fucking awesome story that they was. Oh my God. I remember one kid was telling me the story about his vacation, and he could give a fuck about what he was talking about, and it sounded like the most fun thing I've ever heard in my life. They went to like, I don't know, somewhere, but they were doing like donkey rides on like the hill, and it was like warm. I think they went to Mexico. And he's just telling me about all this stuff, and I was like, I've never left Haverhill, basically. I barely left Massachusetts at this point. I didn't do anything until I was an adult, and I did it myself. My family never went on vacations. I've talked about before. We went to one. We stayed at a motel in Salisbury, Massachusetts, and the pool was so fucking dirty. We didn't even. We were only allowed in a corner of it because it was like that was it. My dad.
That was the
That was the
cleanest
clean corner.
I don't know. I think my mom was just like, it's the only pool there is. It was fucking. I remember it and being like, I don't want to go in, and she was like, no. It was like I had to, and there was leaves everywhere, and I was screaming when like a leaf would come near me, and it sucked. My dad still just went to work every day. He was just like 9 to 5. Just like he left because we're only 2 towns up, so he just left a little earlier, and he'd still come back at like after 5, and then we just eat and go to bed. I was like, that was the vacation. We didn't go to the beach because Salisbury has a beach. They have a whole center. We didn't do any of that. We spent a couple days at the motel, and it's fucked. Honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm not even sure that was a vacation. I think something might have happened at the house. I don't know. I have no basis of this, but now that I'm thinking about it,
Your house is getting
bugs.
fumigated.
something. I have no idea. But we
Potato
didn't stay
bug.
for a week. It wasn't fun. It sucked. we could have went home at any time. Thinking about, I was like, no one's having fun. Everyone's miserable. This place is a fucking rat hole. I don't know. Now I have to go back and, you know what? I'll talk to my mom later. I'm gonna say, hey, remember that one thing we did? Why did we do that? But then classmates would come in and be like, oh, where'd you go? Oh, fucking, I have it specifically written down, family vacation / fucking Universal Studios. Everyone went to fucking like Nickelodeon Studios, and I would watch fucking like Wild and Crazy Kids and all those shows of fucking the heyday of Nickelodeon, and they'd have the globe outside in Nickelodeon Studios and this, that. And I was like, people I know go there, and I've never been. And then I still never went because by the time I went down there, it was all gone. I was like, oh my God. But man, whew, to me, that was high living. If you did that, that was fucking top tier shit. And to a degree, it is. I mean, it is. But oh my God, I didn't do shit. I bet Will went on vacations, fucking puka shell wearing piece of shit.
I did go on a yearly vacation, but it was just Sebago Lake in Maine. I didn't do Florida. We went to Florida like once.
One more time.
But this does explain your prognosis of DDES.
DDS. Hold on. Wait. Disney derangement syndrome?
Yes. So now you're obsessed with that childhood vacation.
Yeah.
And you're going to chase that dragon.
Dude, I own the dragon at this point. No, totally. I mean, when I finally went there, I like couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. It was just like, it was such like an unattainable thing my entire life until I finally, like, my brain matured and I was like, let's fucking go myself.
Yeah.
I also remember the job I had, like the guy was giving me a hard time about taking vacation. And like, so I put it in, he's like, I don't know if we're gonna be able to give it to you. I said, no. I go, I'm going. It's up to you whether or not I come back the following Monday. That's your call, is what I said. I was like, this isn't a request, it's a notification. So I'm just letting you know I'm gonna be gone that week. So just, it's a heads up. And man, did I have a great time. Those first like 5-6 trips. I mean, I have a great time every time I go now, but man, those first like half a dozen trips when I was just going with like my buddies and things like that. Saw Sam down there. It's fucking the best. It's the best. It's the best place.
Agreed. Charles is about to tell us about his bi-monthly trips to the Maldives when he was a kid.
I was gonna say, I was like, I went on many vacations yearly. So,
well, yeah, your dad was an electrical engineer.
I'm
sure
he
he
was
had plenty of funds to do stuff like that.
He is what I call, I already have it propped up for, his funeral for my speech. He's the last, I consider him the last American dream. He came in at the bottom of the company and literally climbed to the top and owned it and sold it.
Oh,
so,
that is awesome. I thought you were going to be like, he came in and he was like, let me tell you something, Daddy. I'm the American dream, that's the roads. My son Charles, I built him a tree house. It's 200 feet in the air, baby.
200 feet in the air.
200 feet in the air. I had to build that high to keep him away from the bed. Suffering on high times. We only go on one vacation every other year.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Matt. Like, I think we went. Definitely not yearly. I think I went on like 3 vacations or whatever when I was a kid with my parents, but it was mostly like, we did like Clark's Trading Post in New Hampshire and that sort of thing. I think the furthest we went, I believe, was the Six Flags in Virginia.
Oh, I was gonna say Avalon, Mass.
Dude, this one sucks. Like Great America, I think it is what it's
something
called.
like that. Yeah.
Oh, it sucks.
Something like that. I think that's about as far as we went. I believe we took a plane. I think that was my first plane ride and my only plane ride when I was a kid, all the way up until I was like 20, something like that. So yeah, I hear you, but I didn't have to go to a dirty pool though. I'm sorry. Sorry that happened to you.
Corner of a dirty pool.
It's like 2 stairs down. That was all I could do. 2 stairs down, right up to like my thighs. I was like, I was in tears.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way we went there willingly. There's something must have happened at the house.
Although I will say, probably the pools that we did go to were just so chlorinated that it didn't matter how much dirt was in it. And I have a really clear memory of when they were airing the miniseries for It. we were on one of those trips up to Clark's Trading Post, and I was watching it with my mom at the hotel. And yeah, that was a special experience.
You never looked at a shower drain again the same way on that trip. Bring your friends.
So good.
Yeah. Okay. Was I the last
Sam.
one? Was that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're number 4.
All right. So now we're getting into the old teenage years.
Yeah.
And this is when I had no real concept of money because I was still a stupid idiot. But I remember I had a friend who had some very well-to-do parents, and the thing I noticed after a while was that when they went out to buy things, they did not ask the price of anything. So that is my number 4, not asking the price of anything, just going like, I want that, and then getting it.
I mean, that could be any decade, any age generation.
It could be. That's the decade where I first noticed that there were people that could do that. Because I mean, I didn't grow up poor, but we were middle class, working class, that sort of thing. My dad's he's a letter carrier, and my mom worked in a factory. So we're very, very average, and I would get like a toy a week or like a Goosebumps book a week, something like that.
Ooh.
You're so rich.
but we weren't at that point where I could be like, Mommy, I want this, and she could be like, put it in the car. You know what I mean? Like, but I did have a
Mumsy, can I get this? I'm a young Prince Andrew. Someday I'll go to the Falcon War where I'll lose the ability to sweat.
It's like you were there. But yeah, the first time I ever saw that happening, I was like, wow, like it turns out like there weren't necessarily good people. So there's I think maybe finding that balance, but that's I guess not.
Tim, they're not good people. They're better people.
Yes, exactly, and that's kind of the impression that I got. It was like, wow, these people are better in the case they can get anything they want at any time. So, yeah, I don't know if you guys ever had a friend like that, but it was weird for me to see it.
No, ironically enough, I learned this is probably the only thing I've ever learned and like taken to heart and actually apply in my day-to-day life was from my middle older sister. And I remember she was older than me, so she was like hitting the early 20s, where she was like, it's that point where you kind of start to make some money and you really have like nothing, no responsibility, so you can like spend a little bit. She took me out to dinner. And I remember looking over the menu and being like, this, but like that's pretty expensive and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, don't look at the prices. She was like, don't go out to eat and look at prices. And I was like, oh, is that what you do? I don't know if it is, but that's how I live my life now. Case in point, when we went to fucking Davio's, me and Will, we spent fucking almost $700. Yeah, I mean, that's, if you're going out to dinner, go out to dinner. Fucking, that's it. Just be prepared, enjoy yourself. Don't look at the prices. If you're worried about the price, reconsider that dinner.
It is funny as well, getting more experience traveling and going to different places and going to some place like Las Vegas and then like looking at the prices and be like, do I want to spend $200 on breakfast? Like, I don't know. But then you wind up in like small town America and like literally everything on the menu is like $12 and you're just like, I'll just get everything because money isn't real.
That's what I mean. Because living in Massachusetts and Boston, everything's expensive here. So when I go to a place like that, yeah, I'll be like, oh, I'll take 5 of those. I'm like, what? I'm like, well, 5 of those is like half of one from where I'm from. So I'm actually making out on the deal.
Yes. We have that every time we go to visit my sister. There's a coffee shop there. It's great. But if we get 2 large cold brews and 2 breakfast burritos, I think last time it was like $23, $24. Yesterday, I bought 2 breakfast burritos from the place down the street. With tax, it was $40, and that's just 2 breakfast burritos. It's outrageous. So I was like, ugh. Terrible.
Jesus Christ.
Yep. They
I
would
like
just do
this
that
pick
with, like,
because you
Okay.
can go another way about it. If you don't have the money, you can just be fiscally irresponsible, and you still get to live that dream.
Yo, there are a lot of people. I know a lot of people in like my running community who are just. They must be way in debt to afford all the travel they do. There's no way compared to like our salaries that we know of, and then the people we know what jobs they work. We're like, how the fuck are they doing this? Like,
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
not to jump off this, but I
Yeah.
did improv with this girl, and cool chick, no problem. One of the few people that were like cool from that place. But she had a kid with someone else from improv, and it didn't work out. And they co-parent, and they it's great. But she's on her own, and she like buys like a house in like a very expensive area, and she's like doing all this work on the house, and like I'm seeing her like on social media. Then she has like another kid on her own through like IVF. Now she has 2 kids, and she's like just all this stuff. And the job they have isn't a high paying job. I'm like, what the fuck? How does this person live this life?
Mhm.
And then they posted an obituary for their grandfather.
oh,
And their grandfather was the CEO of U.S. Steel.
oh, jeez.
Oh, Jesus
Wait, what?
Christ.
Yeah.
What,
so
was
I
your
went-
Rockefeller? What was that?
I went, oh, I understand now. That makes more sense. So maybe these people have some sort of like tie to money that you just don't know about.
Who was Rockefeller? Or was that J.P. Morgan? Was U.S. Steel?
Well, no, it was some other guy, but yeah, he wasn't like the founder, but he was like CEO for like a couple decades or something like that.
Jesus.
But I went, oh, okay. But like I said, cool chick, all the success to her. Never had a problem with her. Never said anything mean to me. So good on you.
Mhm.
Will.
where are we? Will,
Bill, you're
Yeah.
4.
I'm next. This one's a pretty simple one. Through the teenage years, I thought that you were really king shit if you drove a Mustang GT.
Yo. we had
That
one
would-
of these kids. We had one of these kids at our school.
It was basically the IROC Camaro of our generation. You know, you were such a douchebag if you actually had one, and it inevitably was. You know, the bumpers were all cracked up and
yeah,
went to shit. And
those cars are
I did,
heavy.
yeah, I did partially accomplish this though. Before high school, I got a V6 Mustang.
Before high school?
Yeah, and it was basically handed to me by my mother. I convinced her to buy it when I was like in 8th grade, knowing that by the time she was ready to get rid of it, I could just slide right in there.
Mhm.
And that's exactly how it worked out.
You were playing the long con.
It worked, man. I fucking drove that 6-banger into the ground, just like a douchebag Mustang owner would.
Yeah. Those cars were everywhere. To me,
Yeah.
and honestly, I think those are my preferred designed Mustangs.
Like this. Which one? Because it had that weird had the round body in like the late 90s, and it became like they started adding angles back to it. So
The
probably that
Angles.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a perfect sphere at one point.
Yes.
Yeah, just a ball rolling down the street. No, but like the ones after that, when they kind of had like the retro look to them, I fucking do not like.
Oh, that one. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, the early 2000s.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did not like those ones. But I don't know. Now they make them electric and cool.
Wow, that's kind of a different car. They just call it a Mustang. It's a
I don't mind
crossover SUV. I'm actually contemplating buying one of those as my next vehicle.
Oh.
You guys are a bunch of goddamn pinko commies. Do they still make a gas powered one at all? Or is this just like an option?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they
that's the
still do.
sports car. But they make this SUV electric car that is not a Mustang. They
Not
just
according to.
it's a Mustang Mach E.
Yeah.
Mach-E
Listen,
Mach?
you can get an electric
Hell
car,
yeah,
and you get an electric car, and I will even you out driving this thing that gets 7 miles to the gallon.
Could have bought the electric Wrangler for what, $80,000, I think.
Yeah, you know, I looked at those because they were doing like a financing special on them, and buying like a $60,000 electric Wrangler at like 2.9% was going to be the same price as buying like a $35,000 Wrangler at 8% or whatever the interest rate is right now, which is really, really dumb. But apparently you can't flat tow them, which was like the whole point.
Right.
So that was out. But yeah, I have two gas guzzling vehicles now. So you buy one and you can be my carbon offset.
There you go. There's no reason to buy an electric vehicle other than just wanting to like save on gas or just any of the other features of the vehicle itself.
If
People
you
that aren't
have
for, like the environment, it's like, dude, you're wrong. The production of that thing is very environment resource heavy. Like more, I have no problem with the vehicles themselves, but like don't get them for that. Like get them because you either you like them or you want to save on gas personally, or just like the features of it or whatever. Like cool, but don't be like I'm doing my part. It's like nope, no you're not.
Yeah.
no, you're not. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that's my pick. A Mustang GT. That nice V8 sound. You were the fucking balls if you had one of those in your early teens.
My number 4 kind of ties right into yours, which is having a sound system in your car. So having like the subwoofers, the loudspeakers, maybe even a pop-out TV like came out of your stereo. That's what I thought was successful back then. Anybody who had a subwoofer in their car, they were real cool. You hear that shitty trunk rattle as it goes down the road.
Oh my god.
Well, then you would have been jealous of me, I'll tell you.
Yeah. I have a subwoofer in my car now, but it doesn't rattle and shit.
And I did this in the most ridiculous, trashy way with all eBay parts. I think I had two 12-inch, I think they were called Pyramid was the brand, famous from Flea Market Offering. And I hobbled it together with like a piss poor amp and installed it in my Subaru and rattled the shit out of the trunk. Sounded awful, but it made a lot of noise, so I thought it was cool.
Yeah, it sounds good inside.
Does it? No, it sounded awful.
Oh man, I got a subwoofer put in my like high school car after I graduated. So in like college, I had that shit, but like during the time in high school, like if you had a subwoofer in your car, you were pretty cool in our area. Just driving around blasting, Little John the whole time. Just that.
No.
Hey man, that's come on. It was 2004 to 2006.
So I don't think I ever knew anyone that had a really nice car that had a subwoofer in it. It was always like
it was always shitty cars.
Box.
Yeah,
it was always a shitty car.
It was always a speaker system that you somehow built a car around and drove it. It's the complete opposite. In fact, even when I met Kaylee, she was driving like an old Ford Ranger, and it had a subwoofer in the back, and I was just like, "There's no
where."
I know, and like. Because it technically it was like a 4-seater or whatever, but one of those like super tiny back seats you had to like really smash it.
Do you have to sit the other way, like facing each other in the back? Was it one of those?
It might have been. It might have been, but it was just a subwoofer back there. So I never knew.
God.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Good pick.
Sam, here's a question.
Yes.
I never asked you this. At what point, when you met Kaylee, and you first started like dating or whatever, were you like, where were you both as far as where you are now? Like, were you both as like, we love dogs and we're both photographers, or like, did you both be like, hey, let's do photography, or like how did like, you know what I mean? Like there's no way you both met and then like, we're like, hey, our lives are completely parallel.
No, I'll try to give you the most succinct version because I know that they were running long. But basically, I had been dating someone else who was a photographer who was very, very talented, and I bought her a new camera, and I inherited her old camera. Then we broke up, so I was guy with camera, and I was like, let me figure out how to use this camera, and I was just taking casual, like some band photos and stuff like that. So I had a camera and kind of knew how to use it. And she rolled into town after moving back up from Florida and didn't really have up any next steps in life. And I was like, hey, while you figure it out, you know, like, what do you want to do? And she's like, I want to work with dogs. So I was like, okay. And so she started volunteering at the animal shelter, and then it was like, can I borrow your camera to take some photos of these dogs? And it kind of, I don't know, kind of snowballed from there.
Wow.
But it wasn't necessarily like a plan, like, oh, you should do this. Eventually it was like, hey, is there any sort of viability in this? And I did my market research, and I was like, I think you could make up to $300 a photo shoot if you did this. I think I underestimated the market, but I also think it just happened to be. I always think about this where like, I think legitimately, I think she's the best dog photographer in the world. And I know like all of them. But I always think about like
everybody else.
Well, yes, that, but also like, what a weird thing to even attempt in the first place. You know what I mean? And I always think about like, what's the thing that I would be the absolute best in the world at, but I literally just never tried it. Like, is it pole vaulting? Is it I don't know, sled racing or something? Maybe I'm an amazing like finger painter. I've like never tried these things, but you just never know unless you try it.
Mario Kart Double Dash, single player only.
Oh man.
No, that's cool. I just never thought about that too. I was like, I never really asked that question, but now we know.
Yeah,
Thank you
this
for
is like,
sharing.
hey baby, want to photograph dogs?
Hey, lady, we want to take a picture of this fucking bitch.
That was my pickup
Hey.
line.
True.
You got developer in my stop path.
No.
Fuck.
You tried too hard.
Yeah.
It's
All
a
right,
photo
who's
joke.
up next?
Damn it.
You.
Me? All right.
You are.
So between 10 and 20, this is when I started to play guitar. And my life became guitar. So you were successful if you were in a big metal or hardcore band. That was it. That was like one track mind. Just if you know, that was it. That was because like idealistic young me was like, that's all I need, man. Just me and the music, man. And that's just how I was. And easily from 12 till, well, technically like 23, but in this generation, in our picks here from 10 to 20, that was it. That's all I cared about. And, yeah, I don't know what else there is to it.
I mean, you kind of accomplished that, didn't you? You're in some pretty successful bands.
Yeah, but not like it's the success I was aiming for. They were pretty good, and like I did a lot of fun stuff. But like we never had we never did a headlining tour. The best thing we did was a co-headlining tour with like a band that still plays today, who's still pretty big. Actually, I think they're bigger now. Yeah, we did a co-headlining tour with a band called Through the Eyes of the Dead, who still play, and they're still like a pretty big metal band. But we were both up and coming at the same time, so it's like, to Sam's point of like, oh, what would have happened if I just kept going? But things happen, and I was like, things change. But yeah, so I know, and I know this is very like a me specific thing. Can't be like, hey, on all of your other bands, what was like your marker of success? Everyone else, but that's it. From 10, like I started playing at 12 because these other kids I know in the talent show the summer before were in a band, and I was like, oh my god, that was so cool. I want to do that, and I joined their band because they didn't have a bass player. I was like, I could play bass. I don't know. I didn't play anything at the time. So I told my dad, who was a musician, and he was like, oh yeah, we'll go get you one. So we got like a little like one of those like bass amp combo things. And I just played bass for there, and I watched the two guitar players play guitar, and I was like, I could play better than these guys. I just grabbed the guitar and then just like went at it, and then I think a month or two later they kicked out one of the guitar players, and I played guitar. And then it was just like cool. And then after that, I kicked out the other guitar player and got a better guitar player. Yeah, it was good. And then
So, Charles, I think I know what happened to your bass amp. Matt's
Yeah,
dad
this guy.
took it.
put me on the path to success.
Yeah. At least it helped somebody. Not just me trying to learn Metallica covers.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
Yep.
Little known fact about me: I was in a successful band,
Middle school band.
the Sons of Italy, marching band. I played the cymbals and the bugle.
Bugle?
At the same time. Yeah, Sam, you were going to say something?
Oh, I'm frozen, aren't I?
Oh,
Oh, he
I love it
froze.
when Sam's frozen.
He looks high as fuck, dude.
looks photogenic. Yeah.
Is he gone?
Starling comes back
Did-
up.
Did we completely lose him?
I'm
Oh,
back,
There
baby.
he is.
Oh, he's back, baby.
I was just gonna say, well, I don't know if we would have been friends in like in school or whatever. I'm trying to pinpoint you like because I feel like maybe you would have tried to beat me up or something, but also you were like,
no.
but also you were modeling dresses and playing the bugle, so I don't know. But no, Matt, to your point, I still get that way when I go see big shows. I'm just like, fuck. This is like, I want to be up on the stage. Like I could do that shit.
I know. I have a musical idea in my head that kind of marries everything that I've progressed at in my life, and I think it's such a cool idea. But it's such like a big undertaking. I'll never get. It's gonna be one of those like regrets where like I die, like I'm on like my deathbed. But I have this. I don't even want to talk about it because I really would like to try to make an attempt at it.
I know what it is.
Do you?
Yep. It's improv metal haunted house music.
You make it. You go out there. You go. Can I get a suggestion of something spooky? And they go. They say a ghost. I go great. Okay. And then it's just like 1 and a 2 and a 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not a bad idea.
I'm in for it.
It's a money idea.
I got two. Man, I'm raking in the ideas today.
Did I ever tell you about that random time that I played at this festival in Maine? And we opened for like POD.
I want to say you mentioned it, but I don't remember it.
I had a friend who was in like a metal band and they didn't have a bass player, and I offhandedly threw out like, oh hey, like if you ever need a bass player, let me know, just being nice. And then they called me up and they were like, hey, will you play bass at this one show for us? And I was like, sure. And they're like, great, it's in Maine. It's in northern Maine. I'm like, okay. And they're like, and we're opening for POD at this fucking festival. I was like, sure. And so I learned their terrible songs and then drove up to Maine, and it was the coolest feeling being plugged into that big of a sound system, because I remember I placed my hand on the bass itself, like not even on the string, and I felt like everything rumble, and I was like, oh, this is going to be loud.
Hell
So
yeah.
it was a story.
Cool.
Yeah.
Was that it? Sam, back
Sam.
to you, number 3.
Oh, back to me? Okay. Let's see. My list.
Are we in our 20s?
In my 20s. Okay. My idea of being successful in my 20s was not being $150,000 in debt.
Coward. Absolute coward.
Very specific number.
That's probably a low ball estimate, is my guess. But yeah, in my 20s, I got out of college, and not only did I have student loans from Berklee College of Music for 4 years, but I had also been like basically living off of my Amex card, like charging like gas to it and shit, because even though I was working 3 jobs, like that wasn't working 3 jobs and going to college, it wasn't enough to remotely pay for college. So I have a very clear memory of one of my least ambitious friends. His name was John, and he actually played bass in one of my bands. He was a good guy, but he worked at like the music store that I worked at, and I think he worked at a gas station at some point, but he didn't go to college, and he never had any money, but he also never had any debt. And I was like, what the fuck did I do wrong? Technically
Good with the bad.
Technically speaking, this guy has like at least 150 grand more than I do, if we're being technical about it. But yeah, I was very, very jealous and thought people were definitely more successful if they had no money than having hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt.
But now look at you.
But now look at me.
Living in an RV.
I living in a trailer.
And you probably still have all the flutes from college, right?
So many flutes. I still technically have student loans, but I've just had them on auto pay for a while, which is nice. They're good for your they are good for your credit if you put them on auto pay and just let them take care of themselves. But it's crazy to think so many years later, as Matt pointed out, I'm aging rapidly. That I think I have like 17 grand worth of student loans still.
It's not bad.
It's not, I mean, I can just pay them off, but at the same time, it's just like, I don't want to pay you anything. And
Yeah.
I keep looking at my statement and it's like, you'll get this paid off in like 2047. I'm like, great.
Are you just hoping Biden forgives your student loan? You can just
No,
I was going to say.
I don't have any, government loans.
Oh.
They're all private loans, baby. So
Yeah.
those aren't being forgiven by anyone.
Well, I mean, yeah, you are forgiving other people's loans, so that's how that system works.
Although technically there was, I think I took out one loan that was only under my name because I had a cosign on loans with my parents and let it default because I had no money. And then I was just like, well, I guess I'll just wait it out until it goes off my credit. And the thing is, eventually it did.
Not a bad plan.
Eventually it did because when I was in college or whatever, my credit score was like a 470 or something like that. And when we went to buy our house, we were going to do it under Kaylee's name only because I was like, there's no way I'm going to qualify for a loan with my credit score. And then something happened and they're like, no, we really need to bring Sam in on it. Will you check his credit score? And they're like, all right, let's do it. And this like, I hadn't checked it in years. And it was like, your credit score is like a 790. And I was like, what the fuck happened? How am I allowed to have anything right now?
All you got to do is pay a couple things off and not be late on your credit card. And apparently they just give those high numbers to anybody.
Yep. They just, I mean, so yeah, so it seemed really stupid at the time, but like, I don't know, just fucking waited that shit out and that was okay.
No way. I tanked my credit score on purpose to do like a
Just to game it.
program.
Just for her gag.
Well, no, I just I did the whole. I like saved like. I paid off like 100 and. I think I paid $90K off in debt in like 2 years, but I really only paid about $48K. Because so just so people know, I'm not recommending any of this. It will. There's two things you need to be okay with because this is how these programs work. You need to be okay with tanking your credit score for a while, and you need to have the fortitude to withstand the threatening letters that come your way.
Oh yeah, big time.
But what you do is this is how this program works. So if anyone's like, "Oh, we'll settle your debt for half," and blah blah blah, and they take like a fee of it, you can circumvent those people and not pay those fees because this is all they're doing. You default on all your payments. You just stop paying it. And then eventually it goes into collections. And it goes so long that basically they're like, that's when you negotiate for like half the balance. And they go, sure. And that's how that works. That's all they do. But then they take a fee of what they save for you and like, it's whatever. So it sucks. It's not fun to go through. But I saved a lot of money. And when I told them how much I wanted to pay a month, because like you pay monthly to put in like an escrow account, and I told them how much, and they were like, "Are you sure? That's a lot of money." I was like, "Yeah, I want this over." I was like, "So," but then I did it, and now it's just like to your point, Sam, of like, "Oh man, I just let this thing go away, and then eventually it was fine. My credit's fine again."
Yep,
that's all it was.
I can tell you the downside of that, though.
Let's hear it.
I was a debt collector for a short period of time.
Oh no, you monster!
It really was not a bad job. They have to hound you; it's their job, but they're trying to get you out of debt. But when you settle, like Matt says, it
You gotta pay
reflects on
taxes
your
on it.
credit report as not paid in full. And they can come back and call that savings income at some point. And if you're ever going down the line for business loans and they see this habit of yours, it could cause you some problems.
I have my credit
But-
report. I don't have anything like that on there.
Well, it'll never say that it's paid in full unless you actually paid the full balance of your debt.
I don't. Yeah, but I've pulled my full credit report. I don't have any. Those have been completely wiped. I don't have. They don't show up on my report.
Then you won. Beat the system.
I don't know. The thing that did catch me off guard, like I interrupted earlier, is I didn't realize that the money you save off of these balances is considered income, and you have to pay taxes on it. So the first year I did that, and I saved a ton of money. I was like, fuck yeah, woo. Then tax time came, and I got all these fucking things. I was like, what the fuck? What is this? I had to pay like taxes on like $20,000, $20,000. I was like, whoa, wait, what? Why? What? Left that part out of this fucking story. But
That's
FYI,
why you
that'll
don't.
happen.
That's why you don't pay any of it at all.
Yeah, that's right. Just fuck them. Just don't pay anything. Live off the grid. Anyway, what are we talking about here? Will,
I think I'm up next.
you're through.
So for my 20s, what I thought would be the pinnacle of success was making $100,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that was still true.
Yeah.
250 is a new 100K.
Yeah, it really is. And that goalpost got moved very far.
Yeah, very
So-
far, very fast. Move-
Mhm.
Yeah.
Will, that is so true, and it sucks. You know what?
I
I
thought,
thought 50K would have been good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was me right just before the pandemic. I was making like around 60K and I was like, I can't believe I'm making this much money. Now? Are you fucking kidding me? I'd be bankrupt.
yeah, I think you need like a report came out recently. You need like 120K combined income to live in Massachusetts.
God,
It's
I mean,
I don't want to see what it is for my area. It's not fucking outrageous.
yeah.
Yeah, I figured by now hitting that milestone, I'd have like a fucking lake house, jet skis.
In the
Driving
90s,
a
you would.
Benz.
Yeah,
Yep.
in the 90s you would.
90s and 2000s, you could definitely get away with that.
100%.
Yeah.
A hundo. Yeah, I remember being like in my late 20s being like, if I make 50K and I take home like a little under like $1,000 a week, I'm good for everything.
Nope.
Nope.
I wouldn't ask the price of nothing.
Mhm.
No, exactly. I go to every restaurant every week. Nope.
Yep.
Not even close. Not
Do you want
even
guac on
remotely
that?
close.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
I
my,
make
my
a shit ton of money and I have no money.
my last job at Apple paid me $38,000 a year, and
Nice.
I
For
worked.
For a job at the mall, that's
That's
Very
not bad.
Listen, it was a fancy outdoor mall.
yeah. I tried to get a job at Mac. They shot me down.
Mhm.
Now
Yeah,
look at you.
I can see it.
Now look at you.
Should have wore a turtleneck.
I guess. But
Yeah.
No, that's
Yeah.
definitely true.
Yeah.
So let's
That
all
was
go
the
around
dream.
and let's share our W-2s with everyone. Put them on the screen.
My job is so funny because, like, since we're self-employed, every single year is so different. You know what I mean? And depends on what I did that conference last year. So, like, you know, the gross number from that conference, which is my income, added with our income, makes it seem like we made like an absolutely silly amount of money. But I was like, well, that's the gross. I mean, it did cost me $200,000 to put that conference on. So,
Right, so that's right off the top.
yeah, right off the top. But yeah, it's
gonna be-
funny. We got to kind of time, like, do we want to try to get like a big loan or something like that? Well, because last year, you know, like it looks like we made a lot of money, and then this year it looks like we made less money. So I don't know. It totally depends on what we do for the year. The banks did tell us that it would be easier for us to get a loan if we had a part-time job at a Dunkin' Donuts where we could prove that we had a consistent amount of income coming in, no matter if what number that was. Yeah.
This
man.
whole system is so fucking broken because we can watch old movies. You could watch an old movie where the guy goes into the bank and just talks to the bank, explains the situation, and they weigh it out and they have a discussion. and they
Mhm.
yay or nay on that. Now they just go, well, the algorithm says no. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So goodbye.
Yes.
Can I explain why it might look weird?
Yep.
No.
Are you worried
I
I,
remember-
can't pay back my loans because you guys couldn't in 2009?
I know. Let them
Mhm.
fail.
Fucking banks.
It was very cute. This is a little Fro story, but Fro was like, they were like maybe a year or two ago, they were like looking to like try to buy a house. So fucking insane. But anyway, because we were going to a movie at the Reading IMAX, and he showed up in like nice clothes. I was like, "Where the fuck do you go today?" Listen to how cute this is. He went around to banks to talk to them about mortgages. So he
Dressed up.
and I laughed so hard at him. I went, "You have no grip of reality." Because and he was like, "Yeah, you're right." Because every place they went to, they said, "Just fill this form out online."
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I can try and get a home loan on an app now.
Yeah, on your
just,
phone.
You just fill it up and it's like, here you go. Be like, great.
Yeah, yay or nay. Oh my god, I
Oh,
wish.
man.
So I'm a pretty smooth talker. I could probably get myself a lot of money for no reason. Alrighty, who's up?
My number
Yeah.
3.
Number 3.
My number 3, speaking of living in your 20s, what was success to me? Not living with your parents.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think I was 29 when I finally could afford to move out. Finally. So I lived with my parents throughout my 20s and it was horrible. And I had friends who didn't and I envied them so much.
Mhm.
It's not like they had a better job with me. They just did not care about, speaking of debt, they just did not give a shit. So
I have a
Yep.
question. Do I sound like trash?
Yep.
yeah, what just happened?
Same thing that happened last time.
Oh,
Which is
with you.
Ah.
which is I don't know, nothing. I'm gonna Charles, do you think if I dip out and come back it'll fuck shit up?
I don't know. We can find out.
All right, I'll be back.
Dipping out.
It is gonna.
Mhm.
Oh, our stream looks real weird. Oh no!
It's all
I
right.
gotta
They'll
switch
get
it
over it.
quick. I don't know what'll happen if he jumps back in. We'll find out here. And this is one of the things I did want to know about our stream.
Unprecedented.
Yes. If anybody is listening to this is what happens when you just live test your shit. Because we don't have producers. Yeah, you're backing in your recording. It says.
Is it?
Yeah.
Cool. Next time that happens,
What could
when that
possibly
happens,
go
you guys sound like robots to me. So next time
Oh,
that
okay.
happens, if I just leave and come back, just assume that happened.
Good to know.
Cool.
All right. Good.
But yeah,
Uh,
living with your parents.
Yep.
Not living with your parents. Excuse me.
I was back and forth a couple times with my parents and
Mhm.
in my 20s. When a relationship wouldn't work out, and I'd been living in an apartment or something like that, I'd be like, "Can I come back home?" And
Can I come too?
roll up the window.
Yeah.
I had a similar situation, Sam. I was in and out a couple times. Then I would work on the road half the year and come back home to the parents. And then I had a girlfriend I lived with for a number of years, and then went on the road and she dumped me over the phone. So I went back to dad's. But I'll tell you what, I never paid a fucking dollar in rent other than to my father. And then I bought my house. So fuck you, landlords.
Oh, well, there you go.
There you go.
Take that, dicks.
Yeah, I wound up paying way too much money in rent. I lived in Hingham when I was working at the Apple Store. Well, that might mean something to Will and Matt. But a bougie ass town, and I had a really nice apartment there because I moved in under the assumption that I would be paying for half the rent, and that my girlfriend at the time would be paying the other half, which turns out did not happen. So suddenly I was left with a rent payment that was twice as expensive, and it would already have been expensive at half the rent. So that didn't work out. The relationship didn't work out, and then I was just like, "Well, I'm gonna leave now." Went back home.
This sounds exactly like my situation. The one time I had an apartment with someone else.
Yep.
Exact same situation. And I still can't figure out how I afforded to live there. I cannot figure it out. Like, looking at
it's,
the math.
it's funny when you get into situations like that and you just figure it out. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh man, this is going to be a fucking nightmare. Like, whatever. And then it's like happening and you're like, I mean, it's not the best, but I'm okay.
Just got to start asking the price of things.
No, I will never.
Yeah.
Just give me it.
The amount of times I overdrew my checking account during that time.
Oh,
Brutal.
Those are the dark days with those overdraft fees.
Yep.
Luckily, they've kind of corrected that. But back when it was $35, $40 a whack, and they'd hit you for like a day's worth of activity because something didn't clear in time.
yeah.
Brutal.
Some might call it predatory.
Yeah, I'll give credit where credit's due. I think that's the best thing that the Biden administration has been going after is the shit like that. There's just like no more of those fees. I'm like, yes, I can get behind this one. Like the insane service charge bullshit. Like, I get it. Like,
Ticketmaster shit.
yeah, libertarian me is like
Yo.
everyone should be able to do whatever they want, and like I totally fully acknowledge the hypocrisy from my perspective of like whatever. But like that shit sucks. If government's gonna fucking put their hand in the cookie jar, put it in that cookie jar.
Mm-hmm.
That is
One thing I saw
nightmare.
this week was they're talking about going after companies that let you sign up for their service online, but you have to call to cancel.
Oh, that's a great one. Yeah,
I think
trying to
in
make it
Europe,
easy to
it's already a
cancel,
law where you have to
Yo.
offer the same option in and out.
European Union is like the one thing they have right is like protecting people against like the
Consumer stuff.
electronic companies. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just like, no, fuck you. You're not doing this. Because they took Apple to, they laid waste to Apple with their fucking chargers.
The USB-C fiasco.
Can you imagine the U.S. government trying to do that to Apple? They wouldn't get it. European Union was like, fuck you. This isn't happening. So,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
so my whole perspective on this is like, you can't have it both ways. Either it's a completely free market, and then it's like, okay, cool. If you're going to do this, I don't want to use your product. In this product, this other company's offering me the same thing without that. I'm going to go to them and like let the market decide. But when the bigger company has strings to pull that don't even let that other company exist, you can't have it both ways. It's one or the other.
Yeah, like when a corporation can run at a huge loss for a decade just to capture market share
Yeah.
and put every little shop out of business, and then they're like, okay, we've got the monopoly now, we're good.
Yeah. It's either completely free or it's not.
We're starting to lean into government gripes. Gotta save that.
Oh, I know. Sorry. I'll dip a toe.
That's
That's a good one, though. I was being kind.
Matt, what's your number 3?
My number 3. So this is from what, 20s to 30s?
Yeah.
Yep.
So now like we're like dipping into adulthood, and this is kind of like a point in my life when I made like the pivot from like not being in bands, and all that stuff. So for me, like the height, like a pinnacle of success from my perspective, from like 20 to 30, was I don't want to say this because it's too broad. Let me see if I can narrow it down a little bit more, give it more specific. But I would say, no, I'll just say it. So having your shit together was like a pinnacle of success to me, because at that point I had people on like complete different sides of the spectrum here. And I was like kind of floating in between of people that, you know, did the whole, they went to school and they had a good job and they had like an apartment on their own and with like an okay car and like they were living life, like, you know, whatever. And it was good. And I had people that were like still doing the band thing, not a fucking dime to their name and blah, blah, blah.
You gonna finish that sub?
Yeah. Like, oh dude, I'm a freegan, man. If it's free, it's for me. And I was like, oh my God, I can look at both of these and I can easily point at which one I'd prefer, because that seems like a more successful place to be at. And it was just like it was kind of like a big deal. I just had, like I said, I had my whole social circle ran the gamut. So I just started to be like, I'm going to head in this direction. And I'm glad I did, because the other one, I have fucking people my age that still post on social media. They posted this the other day. It was like playing a sick DIY venue up in Maine this weekend. It's like, you're fucking almost 40. You could be 40.
That
You
bums
live in an
me out.
apartment. You have nothing. You have nothing.
That
This
bums
is
me out.
sad. This is a sad thing to me.
Mhm.
But that's not, I mean, so to me, like, that was the age where it's like, everyone, we have a decision to make. There's a fork in the road, and people they're like, I'm still going to make it, and blah, blah, blah. So here's like, here's something that kind of like, I think denotes a bit about that. Like to your point earlier, Will, it's like, oh, you had some success with like the band, and I did. The people that didn't still chased that dragon. It went down that path, like the people that are playing a sick DIY venue up in Maine this weekend. And the people that did have like some monikers of success with the band stuff, they were like, I'm good. Let's move on. But man, that was it. I left the band scene when I was 23. Played a little bit locally, but wasn't nearly as aggressive as I was from like I was like 16 to 23. And I went back to school. That's like when I started to go back to school. I was like 24 or whatever. And that was it. So, man. But I had friends that had already done it. And like, here's the trade-off, right? So this is like the trade-off. Like 10 to 20, being in a big band was what I consider to be successful. And with that comes a lot of lived experience. The people that did like the school thing and like they were now on my spectrum of like success in my 20 and 30s. They do not have the lived experience of the people, my success people from 10 to 20. And I count my fucking lucky chickens every day that I'm doing both. I have fucking awesome stories and all these things. And I talk to people that like didn't. And I'm like, oh, how were your 20s? Or you're like, how are you know? They're like, I don't know. We just kind of hung out and did this and, went to school and, that we had this fun party here and it's like, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah. I was like, I was on the road and the tire fell. I like this like crazy fucking story. And it's just like, I don't know. So it's like, I don't know. Life is interesting.
Sure is. I often wonder what you would have been like if you were just a piece of shit and didn't,
if I was.
I'll say that if you were still old teeth, Matt, and you just like
that was it.
Touring in a band, you broke edge at some point in your mid 20s.
No,
and
never. That would never happen.
You would still have awesome stories. There would just be more victims in them.
I'd have awesome stories, but they'd be the premise would be sad from the get go. Because you'd be like, oh, so I was at this party and there's a bunch of like high school kids there. You're like, oh, why are you there? I was like, well, dude, play the show. Play the show.
That guy that shows up to a party that he's way too old to be at, he has a gun.
Dude, that was a fucking... Towards the end of that part of my life, gun culture became a huge thing. Huge. Actually, it's what killed my friend Nick Giacobbe. Fucking died at a party because someone was showing off their gun and he was drunk and goofing around and put it up to his head and it went off and he killed himself.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I forgot that's how it went. Holy shit.
And the fucking person who brought the gun and was showing it off at this party caught no charges because it was in New Hampshire. Yeah. None. Not a single thing. Just like a whatever.
Should he have?
What?
Should he have?
Yeah, I think there's a level of responsibility to the gun owner to be responsible with it and not just let people parade around with it at a party where people are drinking. Yeah.
So someone's a big fan of Alec Baldwin.
I agree.
I
know the reference, but I'm missing the piece that connects that to that. I know the story, so I don't know. Talking about Rust.
I think I was hoping you'd say the other way.
Oh no, I think there should be. I mean, listen, I'm personally not. I'm a big 2A advocate. I fully believe in it, but I'm not a fan of guns myself. I don't want to be around them. I don't want to have them. But when someone said, if you were in a situation and the other person had a gun, would you want a gun? I'd say yes. So to me, that's the simplest argument for being pro 2A is like, if everyone has them, I don't want to be the only one that doesn't. And I would like the ability to get it easily. But
hey, that's the trade-off of living in Massachusetts. The best state in the country to live in. Just came out last week.
According to what, Massachusetts Magazine?
I was going to say, what?
Oh yeah, New Hampshire is different. I can just walk
Yep.
to any store and be like, "Give me gun," and be like, "Who are you?" I'm like, "Doesn't matter. Just give me
You
gun."
just go, I'm an American. I go, good enough for me.
Yep.
Here you go. Which
Don't step on Snick.
which I fully support. Everything should be constitutional carry. By the way, I love the step on snack. I love that. I want a hoodie so bad. No step on snack. I think that's so
Yep.
fucking
Oh my
funny.
god.
I love that so much.
That's such a fucking Virginia thing too, because that's one of the plates
yeah, they
you
love 'em.
see in Virginia.
It's so fun. No step on
It's-
snack.
Yeah.
But you know what?
That's very
Soon,
funny.
all that stuff will soon be replaced with Build the Wall to Portamall memorabilia that you can get at buildthewalltoportamall.com. That I'm
Dot
gonna
top
register
5
right
of
now.
death.com.
Top 5 of death. Yeah, I'm making a subdomain. Top 5 of death.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So-
yeah. Sam number 2.
Yeah. Yes.
What are
So
we in
how-
our? What is this?
30s
Middle
to
age?
30s? the
30s to
decade
40s.
I'm in now.
Me too.
Um,
even though I
us.
soon won't be.
We're rapidly hurtling towards our graves. All right, my 30s. I think it's funny as we get older and see like, oh well, this I don't want to step on anyone's numbers, but like, oh, this person has this sort of savings account, or this person has like all this like really
No,
super
hit 'em
super
hard,
dry.
man. People need to
boring
hear
stuff.
this.
I know, but mine for my 30s, a big sign of success for me is just someone that just like is totally comfortable just taking care of other people. And it could be really as simple as like we all go out to dinner and I'm just like, I got this, like not a
Oh,
big
yeah.
deal, that sort
Okay,
of thing.
me, you, Matt, Davios.
Yeah.
I'd like to come, but I'm not going to offer it.
No,
I'm going to be slow draw on that card.
Charles, it'll be worth it. It'll be worth the-
I will pay good money for good food.
No,
So-
Sam's paying because he's comfortable.
Oh,
taking
Sam's
care
paying?
of
Oh, even
others.
better.
Yeah.
That's the joke.
But it's just a good feeling to be able to do something for somebody else. Maybe somebody that doesn't have, that doesn't have as much, and to not make it a big deal.
Yeah.
I remember like a number of years back, we were at the mall with Kaylee's mom, and she saw this coat that she like loved. She's like, "Oh my god, I love this coat! It's so fabulous!" And she tried it on. She's like, "Oh, I look great in it." And I was just like, "Do you want the coat? I'll buy you the coat." And you know what I mean? And like, and she's like, "No, you can't. It's too expensive." It was like $200 or something. And I was like, "I'll buy you
That's
the
a coat.
coat. It's fine."
$200 on DoorDash a day.
Yeah, exactly. But just to be able to do nice things for other people and have it not be like, this is a special occasion. Listen, this is a once in a lifetime thing. And I'm not going to let you forget that I bought you that coat ever. I'm going to bring it up every time I see you.
Yeah, that some people definitely do that.
Yeah.
Where's the coat? Where is it?
It's like 100 degrees out. Like, where's that winter coat, Loretta? But no, I know a couple people that are like this. And actually, speaking of Loretta, she recently got married, and her new husband is like this. And he's just a super nice guy, but he's always as like, sees somebody like wanting something, doesn't matter who it is, and it's just like, I'll get him that thing. And he's one of those guys that like is 70 or something like that, and spent like a whole lifetime being like a successful like builder and has money, but like you would never know because he's always wearing like suspenders with no shirt. You know what I mean?
No, I don't.
That's Florida attire.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Suspenders and no shirt, chain smoking. You know what I mean? Looks like Willie Nelson. Like he's like the least assuming person, but like, dude's got some money saved up, and he's like, but the part that's, makes me like look up to him is how he's just like very giving of it in a very non-flashy or judgmental sort of way. Just seeing somebody who's just like, this person could really use this thing, and like, here you go. No big deal. So
I
yeah,
think it's a wonderful pick.
yeah, currently in my 30s, that's my feel good pick of of a mark of success.
And I think you can scale this, at any level. You don't have to be financially, successful to be able to do little things for people you love and are close to
money, it's it. That's it. Money. No service. Pay. Listen, I know you could shovel me out, but I would rather you pay someone else to shovel me out.
I don't know. I try to do things like this, especially for my parents. We go out to dinner or something. My parents aren't reaching into their pocket for anything. And then, I try to keep it that way.
Both his parents are paraplegics with no arms.
Oh, we now have to catch my dad trying to pay for the bill because he tries to pay for the bill every time. But when we're not paying attention, so we'll be deep in conversation. He'll just be like, psh, 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 and just like hand it off. And we're like, like a whole family dinner of us. And we're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I like doing that at restaurants, sneaking away and paying the bill to somebody who would be aggravated by it.
Yep.
Man, I would always be so fucking pissed if you did that, Will. Every single time.
No, you wouldn't.
Bullshit.
That's why I won't do it for you.
God,
I did it to one of our listeners that I went out and had dinner with in Jersey, Mazer. He went to the bathroom and I paid the bill while he was gone. And then I said, all right, I got to go see you. And he's like, well, what about the bill? I go, you don't have to worry about that.
We're skipping out on it. You should start running.
I paid for Minchmanteer's dinner with his wife when he came up here. We all had dinner
On their anniversary, right?
It was their anniversary too.
Yeah.
I mean, you should.
I don't know. They chose to spend it with you.
I know.
They should
Maybe we should have charged a guest fee.
I know. I should have an appearance. Should have charged them. I'd like to see.
Ah.
But that was a good time.
Will.
Back to me. So this is one that I'm currently working on, but in my early 30s, I've always wanted a well built out woodworking maker shop with every tool imaginable, everything in its place on the wall, and just having the capability to go and make and build whatever the hell I wanted. Never really doing anything, but having everything I need. And I think, Matt, you kind of sympathize with that mentality of just, I got to get all the things. I got to get everything.
This computer sitting on the wall could fucking power a rocket to NASA. I use it to podcast. Like I said earlier, I turn it on once a week. It just sits there. But when I was building it, I had to have it just in case I wanted to go to NASA. I'm going to NASA. Go to fucking the moon. I don't want to go to NASA. Place with a fucking propaganda arm, just fucking faking shit left and right.
There you go.
But yeah, I grew up watching This Old House, as many of you guys have probably caught on the weekend Sunday morning shows. It just, to me, that shop was just so, it made you a man.
Hell yeah, dude.
A little leg on a toy breaks. You're like, I can fix that. I got it. I got an M3 screw
from a ship that I built 10 years prior.
Millions of screws and nails and fasteners that you'll never use.
When I moved into this house, I had exactly that in the basement from my grandfather-in-law, and I got rid of all of it.
Pickle jars full of random nails.
Dude, he built this wicked cool thing. So in the basement, right, it has got like the floor joists, right, that hang down, and he just built.
Yep.
It had two pieces of wood that came down, and then another piece of square wood in the middle that could rotate on it. And he screwed in caps to mason jars on each of it, and just screwed the mason jars in there so you could rotate it and get different. He kept different screws in there. I was like, "Oh, it's so fucking cool."
That's
cool. I was like, "But it's taking up space, so get it out of here." I do feel bad. I did keep all the tools that I knew how to use and could foresee needing them. I kept, but I got rid of a ton of stuff.
Reminds me of Gran Torino, where he's showing that younger kid like his tools, and he's like, "Wow, you buy all these tools?" And he's like, "A man collects these tools over the course of a lifetime."
Yes.
Not me. I just go and get the Ryobi Super Pack. He's like, "Yo, you buy all these?" Like, "Yep, yesterday." Some of them weren't even open.
That's so funny. I mean, yeah, I can see that if you're into that sort of thing and you walk into someone's like fully furnished like woodworking shop and you're just like, holy shit, like how is this even real? Meanwhile, like I bought like a $26 toolkit off of Amazon. I'm just like set. I'm all set,
will ever
baby.
John, you guys, anybody listen to Jonathan Colton? He's like a comedic.
The
kind of
jazz
folk-
artist? I don't know who that is.
No, he's like a comedic. You ever hear that song? All we want to do is eat your brains. Ever hear that? Or he did the song for the Portal. Aperture Science. We do what
I
we
don't know.
must. Anyway, he's a songwriter, but he has a song called Shop Vac. All his songs are comedic in very like unassuming ways. But he's just got the song called Shop Vac, and the whole thing is just like a love letter to living in a suburban home, and having a wood shop in the basement. And the whole thing is just like, if you need me, I'll be downstairs with the shop vac. You can call, but I probably won't hear you because it's loud with the shop vac on. And it's like, that's the whole thing. It's so good. So that's why I hear you, Will. And I wish I knew that. I would have gave you a ton of woodworking tools. Like the old nice fucking like wood handled ones too.
Mhm.
Yeah, a good set of chisels can last forever.
Yeah, those ones did. I think the guys from the junk removal company took them.
Probably.
I'm sure that's the perk of the job, right?
No, 100%. They pick through your shit like crazy. They go, "You get rid of this?" I'm like, "Yeah." They go, "Mine now." I'm like, "Cool. I don't care."
Can't wait to hit eBay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's a good
Yeah.
one.
My number 2, the ability to afford children.
Like buy them.
To buy them if you want.
Charles. I got a couple
Yeah.
of kids here.
Yeah. If you got to buy them, if that's the way you got to do it.
You just see that
Sure.
one earlier.
but-
Brought you food.
Yeah. But yeah, kids, they're expensive. And I can't currently afford that. So
Like I said,
Look into
earlier,
foster care.
It's the exact same thing I said earlier. It's where it's like you just figure it out. That's it. That's it.
well, I want to say, do you think this is where a foster child should lay?
Yeah.
This
Well,
is
no,
our
you-
spare
Probably
room.
where they're coming from, it's probably 1,000 times better.
Yeah.
True.
This is a cat littered covered bed that no one uses.
Put a baby in
You
there.
collect enough of them, you'll be rolling in dough with all that government money.
Put a baby on it.
You just need a few cages.
You know, we
this
also work in this room. It's fine.
This is the beginning
Cages like
again
that.
to the beginning to Idiocracy, where
Yeah.
where the couple's like, it's just not the right
Yep.
time to have a child right now, and then meanwhile the other family's popping out like 11
I
kids.
know. I know.
Yep.
Speaking of Idiocracy, I just started a brand line this morning
Better not
based
to
on
build a wall to
Idiocracy.
port them all. That's my brand line.
No.
You piece of shit.
No, like a MAGA inspired hat that I ordered that says "Make Idiocracy Fiction Again."
I'm taking that one too. I'm gonna open
I'll have it.
opposing brands.
I'll have that hat. That's my cookout hat. You'll see it there. Oh, by the way, Sam, you want to come to my cookout? No? All right.
Wait, what day is it?
August
31st.
31st.
No. I'll be 3,000 miles away. But thank you for the invite. That's really the thought that counts.
Back to your point, Charles.
Yep.
Yeah. You're never ready financially for kids.
Mhm.
You think you will be.
Oh yeah.
You always try to like, I'll do this one, but I'm telling you, I tell everybody, if having kids is something that you are interested in your life, yeah, you can try your best to be like, I want to be here, I want to be there, I want to be at this point in my life, but don't put it off. And the reason I say that is because you don't know until you try what your process is going to be like for having kids. And I encourage people to rather try faster and earlier than later, because if things only get more complicated as time goes on. So that's my nice PSA to everyone. Kids are awesome. I would have a kid every week if I could. If Megan had good pregnancies and not like terrible ones, I would just keep them coming because kids are the best. Birdie is so fucking cute. It's unbelievable. Wednesday brought me food, so she's become into the servant's age where she can carry a plate. So that's a benefit. She's awesome. Tatum's great. It's just like I don't know. I back that so hard.
Well, now that we get the YouTube stream going, can monetize Charles having some kids.
Yeah. I did show my nipple, so that might bring in a nickel.
But Matt, your number 2.
So my number 2 is it kind of ties into what Sam said, kind of. But like for me at this point, like a sign of success at like my age, right, it ties back into my number 5. Taking your family on vacations, taking like a big family on vacations, like our friend, every time I see pictures of Justin, like with his family on a vacation, like I'm like, not to get like too like gay on anybody, but like, I'm like, man, I'm so happy for him. Like, good for him. Like, that's awesome because, you know, we knew Justin when he was younger and we're surprised he's even alive. So the fact that he's alive and doing like fairly well, and like in a responsible nature to have like, you know, 3 healthy kids that are blonde for some fucking reason. Justin said he was blonde when he was a kid too, but I just don't believe him. But like, yeah, it's just like, and it's also weird too, is like when I go to like Disney and I have all my kids and like I see other dads in like the same situation. It's like the Jeep wave, man. Like you give them like the fucking like this like secret freaking nod, and like you see him in the hallways when like you're walking down the corridors of like your resort, and you're just like, this is it, man. This is like why why we're living the dream. And to the people that fucking like, then you have dads that are just like, God, just like, and they wear like the most expensive trip ever vacation. It's like, dude, get the fuck out of here, man. Like, have a little fucking appreciation for your fucking situation, you dog-gone bastard. Those people I can only imagine are just insufferable garbage humans. But yeah,
Yep.
That's it.
Anyone
Just
in a grumpy
taking your
shirt.
family on vacations. What?
I said anyone in a grumpy shirt. That's like, that's like the cool thing to wear at Disney when you're like, I'm edgy. I'm gonna wear this grumpy shirt.
Dude, you know what ones that I fucking despise more than anything because it was so fucking cringe were the I gave my wife the D. And it's like the Disney D.
Yeah.
It's like,
I've
dude,
seen that.
Listen, I get it. You play fucking apples to apples and you think you're God's gift to comedy now, okay? I get it. Fuck out of here. Oh.
Oh, but that is a good one. Have you guys gone anywhere other than Disney yet with the whole family?
We've done like camping stuff. I think we might try to go to it's a little bit more local, but I think we're going to try to do like a weekend up in North Conway with like Storybook Land and stuff like that. But nothing plain. We're going to Texas in March for a wedding. So we're going to like spend like a week down there and do Texas-y shit. But yeah, but nothing like a Disney vacation.
Texas-y shit.
Hell yeah, brother.
Oh, but no, that's awesome. Those vacations, those trips are those like big memories for the kids, you know, and definitely shape who they are and how they remember their childhood. So yeah, that's a great thing to be able to do for them.
Yeah, they're not going to be like me sitting on a podcast 39 years later being like, I couldn't go in the pool because it was so dirty. And my dad still went to work, and we didn't leave the motel for 3 days. And it was a 1-room motel, and we all were in there. Yeah, that motel is abandoned now.
I had another brother, I think, at some point.
But yeah, that's my number 2. Is just family vacays at this point.
Nice, love it.
Yeah. Number 1s.
Oh, all right.
What is this? Elderly? What are we calling this era?
Between the 40s and death, however long that may be.
Yeah, I'll phrase this. If you're on your deathbed, you know, that you're going towards the light and you just reflect in your, you know, flash before your eyes your whole life. And what would qualify as, yep, I had a successful life.
Okay, let me rewrite my number 1 then.
Hold on, what did you say?
Who?
Will.
Me?
Yeah, like your overall, if you've succeeded in life altogether.
Okay.
I felt it was silly to say 40 to 50 at that point.
Listen,
Well, after
you
50,
never know.
there's no more success.
No.
It
Right.
stops right there.
Because my last one was like so I don't know, Hallmark Channel-y. This one is going to be going to space.
All right.
Wow,
You've never been.
You know the
You're on
mark
your
of someone
deathbed,
who's
you're like, I went to space.
I went to space. The mark of someone who's truly successful. You know, you meet someone and they're like, I climbed Mount Everest. You're like, wow, like that's amazing. And then you pull out like, I went to space. Like, fuck you. You didn't go to space. I went to space. I feel like that's something that only the most successful people get to do, like billionaires and that sort of thing. So I don't know. I don't think you can be more successful than someone that goes to space.
It's better than going to visit the Titanic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least if you died on a spacecraft, it's like, oh, that's pretty cool. But dying under the ocean, like in an instant because it was run by a PlayStation controller.
Yeah.
A Mad
No
Catz
good.
controller.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I want a jewel encrusted spacesuit. And
What are you, Liberace?
and then yeah, right before I die, I'm in space and they jettison my body out into space where I don't know, maybe I don't rot or something, and then just I'm in a jewel encrusted spacesuit floating through space forever.
Okay. That's a excellent.
I like
Way
it.
to go. Yeah. All right.
I
It's a
mean,
gentleman's number one.
there's no way someone's like, oh, my so and so, what was their life? It's like, oh, they did all this stuff. Oh, they went to space. So they went to space.
Yeah, they're still
You think
there.
you think that'll be a common thing?
I think it's achievable in our lifetime.
I think it's coming. Didn't Lance
that'd
Bass
be
go to
crazy.
space?
Yes, I think so.
I was gonna say no, but I think he eventually did. I don't know.
Yeah.
You got to be the first person to take a photograph of a dog in space.
I wonder if it's happened already.
No, don't fucking.
Was there a photo
They've
of
had-
Leica?
They've had dogs in space, and I'm sure they took pictures of them while they were on the craft together.
I think
But not as good a pictures as Sam could do.
Space.
Yeah, there you go. And then we can sell it as an NFT.
Oh, there you go.
Listen, I know how to get to space financially. No, I have a lot of. I'm gonna throw out one other thing that just as an honorable mention, which is I don't know why I thought of this, but having a law named after you as well.
like Melanie's Law.
Yes. Like you want to die in such a way where they have to make a law and then name it after you. The mark of someone truly successful. Have a law named after you. No, but my number one is definitely going to space.
That's a great
That
one.
is. Yeah. Will.
All right, my number one is a little more earth-based, and that would
Only a
be
little.
to retire on a huge plot of land somewhere in the middle of nowhere, with a compound of houses for all my family and friends, whether they live there full time or not. Just outfitted. We got a big garage full of ATVs, dirt bikes, jet skis. We got a little lake and a small farm in case shit goes off, hits the fan and we got to go off the grid.
What a way to
Achievable.
die, I guess. What a
Very achievable.
what a thing to think about right before you die. Like, I did it.
I did it.
Yeah, I built a compound. Put a moat.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add moat to that.
God,
Yeah.
I kind of want to steal Sam's space number one.
I was thinking about just trying to one up him with some crazy shit, and I thought we'd go around like that. But
I went to Mars.
Mine sucks. Space.
It's a hyperspace.
Oh.
No,
So what is your cult called now that you have this compound?
It would be the Valentine family compound, of course,
there you go.
just like the Kennedys.
Same exact thing.
The people that I bought our my house from, their brother and sister or whatever, I don't know, this weird family thing. Their family lived up the street in a different house, and they both sold their houses at the same time because they were building a family compound down the road. And yeah, that's definitely a thing that people do. And
Now no one leaves or goes in.
yeah, yeah, no one gets out, no one comes in. They've got a lot of guns on this compound. Like a lot.
A lot of guns and a lot of butlers. One butler per person.
How much you paying those butlers?
Paying. They get to eat the farm food for free.
They get to not be shot by all these guns. That's enough payment. No, I like it. I always wanted to do that as a kid.
Well,
Have butlers?
buy one.
I mean, that would have been a great number 5 for your signs of success.
I know. Yeah, having a butler. That's a good one.
Having a butler.
Someone who buttles.
Charles?
Well,
Three?
my number 5
One?
is anything like that, or my number 5. My number 1 is I don't know, if you're now like going towards your deathbed, mine would be if successful life is not having any regrets at that point. Because if you wonder why I do half the shit I do, like all these long runs, because I don't want to be on my deathbed and I'm like, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. I'm just gonna fucking do it at this point. So that's my sign of success when I'm older.
I only ran 62 of the 63 national parks.
Yep.
A single tear and then one last breath.
Just trying to make sure there is no cartilage left in any of your joints.
Yeah. We're, yep.
Gonna be shooting sparks, starting fires on his clothes. All the friction heat.
What? At that age, what? We're going to be able to like have robot legs, right? We can just chop these things off and put on new ones.
Yeah, maybe.
Fully interchangeable. Yeah.
Oh man,
Hot
Put on-
swappable robot legs.
Yeah.
Like going out for a run, I got to put on my Kenyan legs.
Or your dolphin fin.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for a swim. Put my dolphin fin on. Oh boy.
That's my number 1.
Well,
Nothing special to talk about.
No regrets.
No
No
regrets.
regrets.
No rugrats. Is there anything specifically that you've done that you can think of that you were like, you know what, if I didn't get the chance to do this now, I'd always regret it?
I don't. Honestly, it was actually the thing we did earlier this year was running Grand Canyon rim to rim to rim in a day. That was one of the major things I've wanted to do for a long time. So yeah, we got the 3 rim job in, and then
Jesus.
called it a day. But yeah, that was one of the things because all the other ones are achievable by money and time, which is like, oh, go to New Zealand or Australia. It's like, yeah, whatever. So, but yeah, Grand Canyon was a big one.
Cool.
Nice.
So yeah,
My number
I like
one.
it.
you're number 1.
This one's fucking. I'm still thinking about taking Sam's. But I'll stick with the one that I have here. So my number 1, what I would imagine to be like a level of success is, God, it's so stupid. It's not space. It's not space at all.
Banging an alien chick.
Banging an alien. An illegal alien. Build a wall, bang them all.
Oh boy.
Oh, hey, different type of approach there. No, it's for me at that point between now and the rest of my life is my like level of success is going to be like just very generic statement for me, but making sure that all my daughters are set up for success in their own lives, especially now knowing what life is like. I think a part of growing up at this point is preparing your kids to be, to give them as much of a leg up as you can. So to me, it's like, I think about like this house, like I'll have this house paid off fairly quickly. And it's like, what do I do with it? Do I just hand it down to one of them? Should I buy other houses and just like, and then give all of them a house or try to? Or do I sell and just like give them all money and let them make it their own decision? It's tough. It's tough decisions, but basically anything where between now and when I die, I would feel not concerned with some aspect of their future lives. So that's it for me. I don't know what else. Or you know what? I buy them all like I buy them so many fucking DVC timeshare points, and be like, guys, listen, just go to Disney as much as you can. Yeah, here's 1,000 DVC points for your entire life every year. Man, that'd be so sick. I wish someone did that for me. I would rather that than anything that was given to me.
How many DVC points do you need to live there full time?
So, someone answered this. This is like on one of the groups. I wish I'll have to find it, but someone did the math.
Yeah.
And how much because it all breaks down and like they whoever did, I gotta find this post because they did some serious fucking like work, because they were like, how much it would cost to stay at this level of DVC versus like this one, and it's not like the most crazy expensive thing. It's probably comparable to buying a house in Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
But then you live at, but you can only, you have to move every month. You'd have to move every month because you can only book a 30-day stay. That's the max you can do for a DVC stay. But imagine 12 months a year, every month you live in a different themed high-end resort.
Let's do it one year.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I would love to. But yeah, actually, you know what? If I sold my house and I did that, and I could just live, and because I want to retire in Florida, I was like, oh, where are you going to go in Florida? I'd be like, I'm going to go to fucking every resort forever. And just live down there as if it's my house.
Mm-hmm.
What's the fucking difference?
Yeah. Just live there till all the money runs out, then open up credit cards. Then the money runs out, and then
I already bought my
yourself.
DVC, and the contracts are good for 50 years. So if I sell my house and I buy enough and I map out everything, and it's like, cool. The only thing I have to do is just make sure I just get my bookings in every month and just go from resort to resort. That'd be sick. This isn't a bad idea. I might really look into this.
There's been an epiphany.
I know. I said, I was like, oh, I want to make sure my kids are set up. No.
They get nothing.
I'm changing my number one to spending the rest of your years in DVC resorts. Oh man, fuck space. I have to get to work. I got to get to work. I got to figure out how to do this.
I want my
Get those
kids to
T-shirts going.
Oh, I know. They'll be like, hey, is that the guy who made the Build the Wall to Portham All shirts? I'm like, that's him. Just me.
That's it. Yeah.
And his less successful Build the Wall Bang 'em All shirts.
But still somewhat successful.
Yes.
Yeah, that's my number one, I guess. I don't know. Making sure my kids are all set / limit the DVC resorts for the rest of my years.
Yep.
I'm already jumping on
All
the
right.
fucking.
He's doing the math right now.
I'm gonna. We have lists. I'm gonna try to figure this out.
We do have a couple lists. If you want your list read, go to top5.com, join the Discord, learn how to set up your notifications yourself so you don't get bothered all the time. First up, we have Daniel Sepultura. Number 5, he says, you're alive, you're staying alive. 4, you're not making too many bad choices. No, you're not making too bad of choices. 3, decent income and working car. 2, working a job you enjoy or / have a family of your own. And number 1, have lots of funny, interesting life stories to tell.
Fucking right nail on the head.
Yeah.
That list.
Next up, we have Mitch Mint, freshest of the fun butts. Number 5, not dying of an easily preventable disease. Bonus points if your parents are anti-vaxxers. Okay. 4, heavy petting through clothing. 3, finally getting laid. 2, have a house and not burn it down. And number 1, go out in a blaze of glory.
Nice.
Next up, we have Gray. Number 5, he has just enjoying life, figuring out things you love. 4, just enjoying life, figuring out things you love, hanging out with your friends. 3, working, investing your money and traveling, investing in your 20s. I didn't do any of that. Number 2, preparing to retire early because your other sources of revenue make more than your job, spending lots of time with your family, friends, traveling. And number 1, wake up every morning and meet up with your friends at your local coffee shop to shoot the shit. Your kids come to visit every week. You can still travel and you still have your health. Next up, we have Mike D. He says, stop shitting your pants. 4, losing your virginity. 3, finding out who your real friends are, the ones you'll eventually have at the wedding type friends. 2, you reach that position in your job that you'll be in till retirement. And number 1, you're finally not afraid to tell the waitress that that isn't what you ordered and send it back. Oh man. I've had that happen, and what they gave me was I was like, you know what? I'll try this anyways. I don't care. I wasn't attached to the other dish.
Same with me.
Same.
Yeah. Because they're just gonna throw it out. Last up, Don Spaguli, number 5. After the rise of AI, you, a 10-year-old with an iPhone, are able to make the entire kindergarten class subservient to your whim by blackmailing them with deep fake pictures. Do 10-year-olds go to kindergarten?
0 to 10.
Oh, yeah. I guess you're blackmailing kindergartners. 4, I don't know what those deepfake pictures are, though. That's concerning. Number 4, you have managed to anime run to every class, making it in just as the bell rings without dropping your books or getting a swirly from Fred the school bully. 3, you remember the mantra, if it's bitter, it's a spitter. And you spit out the 7 tabs of... You spit out the 7 tabs of Inbohm, narrowly escaping death, but not escaping the trip. You managed to convince the dragon demon before you that you are not a virgin because you touched a girl's boob one time while you were kissing, even though she then requested you'll be less handsy, and you complied with her request. 2, your life is a sitcom. The phrase happy wife, happy life is used often. While you constantly placate her vain and destructive desires, your children resent you, and their quips about your hair and how much money you make remind you of how you felt in high school. And number 1, you have the sickest golf cart in all of the villages. Kitted out with every loofah, you dog out every creature with wrinkles within a 5-mile radius of your beach kitchen filled condo. Beach, what is that? Beach kitch?
Oh, yep. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
That all tracks.
Filled cottage. Yeah. And that's the list.
Nice.
So, yeah.
This guy's been to the villages.
So I got some numbers here.
Oh, okay.
Let's hear it.
Okay.
Yep.
So basically, on the low end, you need about 16,000 DBC points. Okay.
All right.
On the high end, you need about 25,000 DBC points. So direct purchases for the low end would be about between 3.4 and $4.9 million. On the resale markets, it'd be about $2 million to $3.3 million. And then on the high end, for direct purchases, it'd be about 5.3 to 7.7 million. And on the resale, it'd be 3.1 to $5.2 million. Just to have enough points to stay for a year at DBC.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that was for one single year, or do you get the whole 50
No, well,
years worth
that
of-
would be the contracts. Those points would re-up every year. So for a year, you need that many points, and those points would re-up every year. So then you could just continue on for 50 years.
Damn.
So
Or you could build your own Neverland Ranch.
No. No, thank you. But all right, cool. Well, thank you so much, everyone. That's our episode for the week. I'm glad everyone was here. Sam, it's nice to see you.
Hey, nice to be back.
Yeah, and we'll catch you next week. And as always, smell you later.